Pugilistic programmers, this is Prof G, and in this short video we're going to create the Bip the Guy Xcode project, download and install the resources for the Bip the Guy app, we'll set up the basic user interface for the app, and we'll get a sound to play when an image is tapped. And along the way, we'll learn about an alternate button format that will include a label where we can add an icon, and we'll use an onTapGesture modifier. It has nothing to do with beverages at your favorite watering hole, and instead, it'll allow us to recognize when our image is tapped so that we can play a sound. Animation will be in the next video. This is another lesson in my SwiftUI University course, all lessons in order in the playlist online free. I also have another channel for the electronics programming course that I teach. Tell your friends, share on socials. Thanks for your help. You might win a sticker. But let's begin this build. So let's create a new Xcode project, an iOS app. This is of course a SwiftUI app. We're not going to do any testing or storage here. Name this Bip the Guy. Make sure you create Git repository because you want to post this to your portfolio. I'll create this on the desktop. Double-click the Windows title bar to expand to full screen. I'll make some adjustments, set my scheme to the current flagship iPhone, and click on Asset Catalog. Click the app icon, and let's head over to our browser so we can get some images and sound. Head to the URL bit.ly/prof-g-swiftui-files, all lowercase. Right-click on the Bip the Guy files and select Download. My browser asks where I want to download files. Yours probably saves these to the download folder. Then from the Finder, I'll pull up the folder that I just downloaded, and in the Bip the Guy files folder, I'm going to drag over the file named Bip the Guy icon and drop it inside the 1024 by 1024 box in the app icon. We've now got an app icon. Then back in the Finder, I'll open the Bip launch screen images folder, selecting all three of those images and dropping them in the assets catalog. Back to the Finder, back to the Bip the Guy files folder, and command click to also select clown and punch sound, and I'll drag these in the assets catalog too. And now let's add the launch screen. I'm going to copy the name of the launch screen, so if I just click on Bip launch screen up here and press return, then with the text selected, I'll command C to copy this, then click on the project file at the top of my project navigator. Click on the Info tab across the top, find the launch screen key, click the downward pointing arrow. Under UI launch screen indented below this, find the little circle icon to the right and click that. Select image name, double click on the value cell to the right of the image name. Command V to paste the name of your launch screen in here, press return, and we're good to go. And now let's head to the content view and code up our interface. I'll delete the default image modifiers and text, we don't need that. And we don't want a system image, so I'm going to delete what's inside these parens. The image we want in our asset catalog is simply called clown, so pass in that string, all lowercase. And that's truly terrifying. So let's add a .resizable modifier below and a .scale to fit. And slightly less creepy, then I'm going to add a spacer above and below the image. And below the last spacer in the VStack, I'm going to add a button. But when entering button, look at the different options we have in code completion. We want to select this one with action and label. This creates a button with a custom label. So we're going to label our button with a system symbol and text. And it's a bit confusing because in our prior lessons, we used the option with the string between parens and then followed this with a trailing closure that was the button action. But here, the button action comes first, and the label part that includes the text inside of the button comes after that. Press return to accept this. And we see this format that shows the parens and an arrow and a void. And a word about the notation. The parens, arrow, and void will create a closure to add multiple lines of code. That's what goes into the action. The empty parens means that it doesn't pass anything into this as input, and the arrow void means that there's nothing passed back out as output. You just put what you want in here that's going to run as an action whenever the button's pressed. Now the label says empty parens, arrow, view. This also creates a closure between curlies where we can pass in code. Empty parens means there's no values being passed into this closure. But arrow view means the result of this will create a view, and that makes sense because we're going to create a label in here. Now you may have seen us add an image and a text view in here. We're going to combine both of those with a label view. Now if we press return on action, we see a nicer format with two closures, two empty curly braces waiting to be filled in. Now for the first set of curly braces, this is our action, the second one is the label, and for that first closure, I'm just going to enter a to-do comment for now, stating button action here. But what's this label stuff? Well, let's start typing in the word label between the second set of curlies, and we see a bunch of options. Now, label is sort of like a text view, but one of the things that a label can do that we want to take advantage of is we can add images next to text. Now, we see an option here with title and system image, another with title and image. The one that's just straight image would allow us to take an image from the asset catalog, but we want to use a system image. So highlight the option with title and system image, We can see from code completion that both of these input values are strings. Whenever you see localized string key, that'll accept regular strings as well as special inputs that we'll learn about later that we can use for localizing the app for other languages. Press return to accept this, and for the first string, the title, we'll put in photo library, capital P, capital L. This is going to be the title of the button. And for the second string, since it wants a system image, let's find one in the library. So we'll click on the plus icon in the upper right-hand corner, and in the icons across the top, make sure the farthest right icon, the symbols icon, is clicked. I'm going to search for symbols with the name photo in it. We can scroll through these. I like this one that looks like photo.fill.on.rectangle.fill, so double click that, and that's entered after the system image, but it needs to be in a string, so I'm just going to highlight this whole text of the photo through the fill and press a single double quote, and Xcode surrounds this in double quotes. And there's our button label. Despite the way that this view is set up, where the text comes first and the image comes second, when you actually view this, the image comes first and the text is second. At least it does in English. Also know that even if you set up the button this way with a label, the button style modifier is still available to you. So for example, you could add a button style modifier with border prominent, and this is what it looks like with our system icon, but I'm going to delete this because I actually like the plain look for this app. Now let's play the punch sound when the image is tapped. So first, let's set up everything we need to play sound, and we've already done this in 2 apps. So you know we need to import AVF audio up top, and make sure you allow code completion to add the correct capitalization. Then we need to declare an AV audio player object, so we're going to add this below the content view struct declaration with @state private var audio player, lower camel case, colon, AV audio player, using code completion to get the caps right, and be sure to add an exclamation point after this, since this value needs to be an implicitly unwrapped optional, and we won't be using any additional optional handling code in our app. Now, since we wrote such a wonderfully modular play sound function, let's raid one of our earlier apps, copy that code, and paste it in here. So I happen to have the You Are Awesome app in my file menu, open recents. I'll open mine up. Why don't you pause here and find an earlier project with play sound in it and open that up. And then you can use the jump bar to select the play sound function, which finds it in our code, highlight and copy this, then return to Bip the Guy, and paste this in just before the closing curly for the struct, and we now have the ability to play sound in this app. Now let's play sound when the image is tapped. This is super easy to do. We'll just head up to the image view, then start to type .onTapGesture. Code completion says this adds an action to perform when this view recognizes a tap gesture, meaning the image is tapped. Now note the closure. This is where we put the code that we want to run when the image is tapped. So press return to accept this, and then inside the closure we'll just call play sound, and we'll pass in the string punch sound. That's lowercase p capital S. No spaces in there. That's the exact name of the sound file that we copied into the assets catalog. And then in the preview, smack that clown! Those sounds are so satisfying. In the next lesson, we'll get the image view to pulse with each punch. In this lesson, we learned a new button format and the onTapGesture modifier. Feel good about those accumulating skills, Swifter, and keep at it.